Your PC may already be a gaming beast, but can a faster memory card improve its performance even further? Or perhaps like me, you're trying to use your gaming PC for creative or AI work, running your own LLMs, and as you probably know, the first bottleneck you're gonna hit is memory performance. So the question is, can these new, faster DDR5 DIMMs from Crucial help you achieve that? Well, that's exactly what we're gonna try and find out in this video. Is upgrading to this much faster new Crucial DDR5 modules actually worth it? I'm Alex and I do down-to-earth tech videos. Crucial are growing their DRAM portfolio with these higher density modules, which are mainly targeted at gamers and creators. And you might say, okay, so these are newer and faster, what's new? But can they really make a noticeable difference in gaming, LLM work, video editing, and just general performance? Starting with the DDR5 Pro memory, overclocking gaming edition, these little beasts can go up to 6400 megatransfers per second and are now available in up to 64 gig kits or 32 gig singles. I've got the black ones here, but you can also get them in white, which depending on your setup will look pretty cool as well. These support the latest CPUs on the market and offer stable overclocking with Intel XMP 3.0 and AMD Expo. Crucial has also just released the DDR5 Classic DRAM, UDIMMs and SODIMMs, and they now come in up to 128 gigs or 64 gig singles. These go up to 5600 megatransfers per second. Again, great for gaming, but as we're gonna see here today, these are not just for gaming. All of these are perfect for creative workloads and multitasking as well. And last but not least, these are the DDR5 Pro DRAM, which now comes in up to 128 gig kits or 64 gig singles. These are also great value and like any other models I just showed you, support Intel XMP 3.0 and AMD Expo. From a design perspective, there's a really nice build here as well on the heat spreader in matte black finish. No fancy crazy LEDs here, just raw speed. Now, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that I like to put things to the test in the same way that you would as well, to give you a good idea of how this will perform in your own setup. By the way, it's not just about memory speed either. A RAM upgrade can affect everything from CPU-bound performance in gaming to how smoothly you can scrub through 4K video timelines as well. So we'll see if this upgrade is just a nice to have or a must have in some cases. Quick disclaimer before we get into all the testing, Crucial has sent me this for review and are sponsoring today's video. I've been using Crucial products for several years and bought many products from them and reviewed quite a few of them here as well at my own cost. I personally love when a brand that I am a customer of reaches out to work with me because it makes my life easier when reviewing them, but I think transparency is important as well. Crucial have been nothing but helpful in answering all my questions that I've got about this product, and hopefully you'll see that the results speak for themselves today. And here's a quick rundown of my current setup. It's an Intel Core i9-13900K. By the way, if you have a 14th gen chip, you will be able to take advantage of the Pro Series, the 128 gig kit as well. My graphic card is a fairly beefy one, it's an RTX 4090. I've got 4 terabytes of storage. I made sure to come here as well and double check that the XMP is enabled in my BIOS. And if you haven't done this yourself, definitely worth checking your motherboard and making sure that you enable that. These will vary by motherboard and processor as well. This is to make sure that we're getting the best speeds possible from these modules. And in terms of upgrades, today we're going from my 2-year-old Corsair 5200 modules to the Crucial Pro 6400. Let's start with some raw performance tests. I'll be running AW64, Passmark, 3D Mark, and Cinebench R23 to get a baseline and then seeing how they perform. With AW64, the idea is to measure any improvements in memory latency and the bandwidth as well. What I'm looking for here is not just raw speed, but latency and how well this memory handles workloads under pressure. And I'm glad to say the improvements, as you can see here, is clear across the board. Both in latency and in memory speed, quite a considerable jump as well. With Passmark, it's a similar story, and what I really like here is that we can see an overall benchmark score improvement, which is an important point to highlight, right? When you improve memory performance, you're not just improving memory, you are actually improving other areas as well, such as CPU and SSD performance. And my overall score was also improved here, which is great to see. And here's a few 3D Mark test results as well, just before and after the upgrade. And again, the same story, right? Looking at the final benchmark result, I can see a clear improvement here as well. In 3D Mark, you can get this simulated games. In Speedway, we're able to achieve a score of 9205, and in Steel Nomad, we can get up to 8590. As we'll see in my practical test just shortly, in actual games, our FPS is in fact way higher than this benchmark suggests. To be fair to 3D Mark though, the benchmark tool does predict that we'll achieve great FPS in most games now. And the final check before we go into my practical tests is the Cinebench, and again, it was also improved after the upgrade. But as I say, synthetic benchmarks don't always tell the full story. What we really care about is actual performance, right? How well does it play? How well does it perform? In Cyberpunk 2077, which is a memory intensive, this open world game, can we notice any improvement, in smoothness of playing this game? I play at a fairly high settings here, but do I see, for example, a higher frame rate? Are there frame dips or stutters in long sessions as well? Let's take a look. Jumping into Cyberpunk, I can definitely see an FPS boost here, but let's be real, I'm not a pro gamer, so it's more of a subconscious thing. The game just feels better to me, even though I can't really pinpoint the exact difference. That said, the numbers don't lie. These memory cards are pushing higher FPS, and I haven't even gone crazy here with tweaking my settings. You can probably get even higher if you know what you're doing here. All I did was just a bit of overclocking and tuning down a couple of things. Another game that I enjoy playing is Call of Duty, again a high FPS competitive shooter. I don't really mind too much playing at a high resolution and at the expense of FPS, but does the RAM affect the overall smoothness of the game and that FPS count as well? Same story in Call of Duty. I am seeing better FPS, but let's be honest, that's not magically improving my skills. I'm still getting absolutely wrecked here, but hey, at least it's a smoother experience even while I'm losing. For those of you who use your PC for content creation, let's see how this performs with video editing. We're going to be using DaVinci Resolve. Just do a kind of quick scrub through a very hefty timeline of 45-minute long, multiple layers of 4K 60 video, and some effects as well, color grading. Pretty much, a much more advanced video than I normally do for YouTube, but we're also going to see how long it takes to export that video and see if the new memory is actually contributing to a faster export time. DaVinci felt super smooth scrubbing the timeline without any stutters, and considering the complexity of this video, I was really impressed. Doing a quick export of this video took just over 8 minutes, which was about a minute and a half faster than before. Bearing in mind that the load when exporting videos is mostly in the GPU, but it was nice to see an improvement here regardless. And another real-world test is running LLMs. It's becoming more and more popular for people to do this on their own machine, but again, this is a very memory-intensive application. This is a new test that I've been doing a lot in sort of the Mac Minis, for example, to sort of push those devices, but I'm noticing a lot of interest out there, so I decided to include that here as well. Now, running LLMs is super fun these days, and memory, as I said at the beginning of the video, is super important. First off, the speed is very noticeable here. When I was running prompts and just to get going and running a few basic prompts, I could immediately see that the responses were getting, much faster than before. And then I did some benchmarking prompts just to get the speed of the model. On this Llama 3 model, I was previously getting 8.89 tokens per second, and after the upgrade, this went up to 10 tokens per second, so about 13% improvement, which is very decent. So after all these tests, was upgrading to the Crucial DDR5 DIMMs actually worth it for me? 100% yes. I can now game and be productive on this machine, and I probably just extended my setup by another 2 years at least here. And if you're running on an older DDR4 setup, or like me, running on lower speed DDR5s, this upgrade is really quite meaningful. And I really hope that my demonstrations were useful for you to kind of not just see numbers, but to get a feel for it as well. But here's the thing, if you're already running on a DDR5, a high-speed DDR5 kit, well, you might want to hold off for a bit unless these numbers that you saw today or the experience that you saw today really blow you away. Let me know that in the comments as well if you want me to test anything else in particular with these modules. And if you found this video useful, you know what to do. Leave me a like, it really, really matters. It helps YouTube kind of, share this video with other people as well. Hope to see you soon.